Good morning, everyone. It's great to be back in Malta. I'm Chris, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Crypto.com. You've heard a lot about cryptocurrency today from these great speakers, but let's go back to the basics. Let's talk about why cryptocurrency matters. Crypto.com was founded on a very simple vision: cryptocurrency in every wallet. We believe that it is your basic human right to control your money, your data, and your identity. And today we live in times where you see a lot of overreach from big tech companies, from large institutions. People used to ignore it, but everyone now seems to begin to understand that it's no longer about taking your data and selling you ads against it. These days, it's about winning elections, about eroding democracies, about your basic human rights. We think there is a better way. We think it's time for Plan B. That's one of the ad campaigns that we are running right now in San Francisco. And how can cryptocurrency solve those basic problems? There is a lot of potential in the underlying blockchain technology. How do we actually take this potential and build products that will get us there? Crypto.com is building an entire ecosystem. On the money front, we are building products that allow you to trade, pay, and grow your crypto. We've already built a lot of custodial centralized products. We are now executing on building and launching their non-custodial, fully decentralized versions. On the data and identity front, if you have a project that will help us give the users control of their data and identity, come and talk to us. We support these projects. We are keen to invest. Let me walk you through what we are building and what we've already released product by product. Our core product is a Crypto.com wallet app, which is now used by over 1 million users globally. It's the only place to buy crypto at true cost. You can buy with credit, debit card, with a bank transfer. You can safely store your crypto in cold storage using institutional grade custody solutions, and you have the view of the entire market. Crypto.com is the only crypto company in the world that is ISO 27001 certified, as well as PCI DSS Level 1 certified, and we adhere to the cryptocurrency security standards. So the highest security standards in the world. Our second product is the MCO Visa card, which allows you to spend cryptocurrency at 50 million merchant locations around the world. It's a beautifully crafted product. It's a metal card. I encourage you to go and see it on our booth over there if you have a moment. But it also has perks that makes spending crypto a pleasure. You've got up to 5% cashback on all transactions. You can access lounges around the world for free. There's a lot of perks in there. It's very competitive against the best credit cards in the world today. It's currently shipping in Singapore and in the US, and we are beginning to ship in European Union later this year. Another product is Crypto Earn, which allows you to earn interest on cryptocurrencies you deposit with us. So if you believe in Bitcoin, you can deposit Bitcoin and earn interest up to 8% per annum in Bitcoin. If you support Ethereum, if you support XRP, it's all the same. I encourage everybody to check it out. This is one of the easiest and best ways to grow your cryptocurrency holdings today. There's more than 10 different coins supported, and this product has been very successful. On the other side of the equation is crypto credit, which is a simple solution to get an instant loan. You deposit BTC or other coins, and you get an instant loan, which you can then use to buy more crypto, or you can spend it with our card, or you can use our payment network to buy stuff with it online. It's instantaneous, and it's very aggressively priced. Crypto Invest has launched a little over 6 months ago and generated roughly 60% annualized returns to our users. It democratizes quantitative trading for everyone. You can put 20 euros and build an automated crypto portfolio with it. Easy as tapping 3 times. Finally, Crypto.com Pay is a blockchain alternative to Visa and MasterCard networks. It supports all cryptocurrencies. The transactions are nearly instantaneous, and settlement is extremely fast. And we don't burden merchants with fees. So it's free, fast, and easy. We think this is the future. We aim to onboard millions of merchants and more than 100 million users on Crypto.com Pay in the next few years. Crypto.com has gained really solid momentum. When I've been here in Malta last year for Delta Summit, we were at roughly 200,000 users. Right now, we've exceeded 1 million, so it's over 5x growth in 1 year's time. The company is a global team with roughly 200 people right now. Crypto.com Coin is in top 25 on CoinMarketCap, and as I mentioned before, we have the highest security standards in the world out of any crypto company. We also have a very engaged community globally with over 70,000 people following us on Twitter. So I encourage you to join the conversation and follow us in terms of what we do, because there's a lot of interesting things happening at Crypto.com every week. So let's go back to the basic. It's your basic human right to control your money, your data, and your identity. We're building products today that you can use to help you get the control of your money as the first step. I encourage you to download the Crypto.com app, be a part of our community, and we are actually setting up a physical presence here in Malta. We have an office here in Malta. If you're looking for your next adventure, and you want your work to have real meaning and impact, and if you want to help us change the world in the next 5 to 10 years, join us. We're hiring now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Now for our next panel. This is the blockchain island, right? So to talk to us about relevant use cases of the use of blockchain, I'd like to introduce the moderator of our next panel, Josh Ocock from Growth Gurus, Director at Growth Gurus. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, Blockchain Island. How nice to see so many awesome faces here today. We've got a very exciting panel today with some great panelists, and it's approaching lunchtime, so let's get some knowledge in before we feed. I'm going to introduce our awesome panelists to come and take their seats. First, I'd like to introduce Mr. Kenneth Brinact, COO of Malta Business Registry. Kenneth. Please, round of applause for Kenneth. And we've got an awesome company called Fraction with us today. Shaun was going to be speaking, but the CEO and founder has managed to step in. So Eka from Fraction, please take a seat.
Come next to you.
And you're going to sit there.
Next to you.
OK, sure. Natalie Smolenski, Business Development at Learning Machine. Welcome, Natalie, please. Thanks, Natalie. And we've got Greg from Stasis. We've got some awesome stuff here. And last but not least, please put your hands together for Jonathan Galea, Managing Director of Blockchain Advisory. All right. Here we are. Guys, before we get into the meat of today's panel, do you want to just say a few words about yourselves and introduce yourselves to the crowd?
Sure. So I'm Eka, CEO and co-founder of Fraction. Background in investment banking for 20 plus years. And now here today talking about blockchain.
Nice.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, mic check.
Am I on? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. My name is Natalie. I lead business development for Learning Machine Technologies. We specialize in verifiable digital credentials and digital identity using the blockchain.
My name is Gregory, and I want to compete with America and US dollar on a global scale, so that's why we created Crypto Euro.
Nice.
Hi everyone, I'm Jonathan, a lawyer focused on the blockchain DLT space. I'm also a developer and managing director of Blockchain Advisory, a licensed VFA agent, and also strategic advisor to various companies.
Hi, I'm Kenneth Brinact from the Malta Business Registry. The Malta Business Registry is the national government entity which administers the register of companies in Malta.
Fantastic. And as you've probably guessed, the panelists on stage all make use of blockchain in their business. And there's many businesses where blockchain may or may not play a role, but today we're going to talk about real-life use cases and how the blockchain technology is benefiting business today. Eka, how do you use blockchain in your business?
Sure. So Fraction, unfortunately, our logos has dropped off somewhere, but that's OK. So we created Fraction to tackle 3 of the most pressing issues that we see today in the society. It is so hard to own your own homes. Now, it takes an average 37 years to do so. Also, the second thing is, why is the gap between the rich and the poor keeps growing? And thirdly, why investment? It's only for the selected few, for the rich, basically. And that's what we created Fraction for. Fraction, our objective here is to allow investment in property, not just to the 5% of people, but to the 95% of people. We do this by effectively turning a single condo, a single home, a single apartment, into a public company where you can buy 1%, 2%, 0.5%.
Nice.
Your €500 savings a month, instead of savings for 40 years to save for that deposit and actually never buying one, you can actually top it up every month, buying 1%, 2% each month. And then we trade that on our exchange, which is exactly in the same way as a stock exchange. So how do we do this? And I think we're going to come back to this. Effectively, we digitize and tokenize the title deed. We fractionalize the ownership of that title deed through to the fractions of the NFT, and then we put them on a trading platform. This is not just an idea. We have been working on this for a long time, working with the regulators through our proprietary legal structuring, and of course, the tech that is finished. We are launching this in Thailand in the next 2 months. Hopefully, from now on, you can now use your 500,000 euros to go towards your first home or your investment property.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Ika. Ika flew over all the way from Hong Kong to be with us today, so give him a round of applause for making the journey. Natalie, I'm going to ask you now about blockchain. You see blockchain as a tool for verification and trust and truth. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. So actually my background is as a cultural anthropologist. And I was particularly interested in the potential that blockchain had to scale trust socially. As the world becomes more interconnected and as the economy becomes truly globalized on an individual level, you may be transacting with people across the world whom you've never met, you don't know, and you have no way of validating their credentials or even their identity today. What the blockchain does is it provides a distributed verification infrastructure that allows anyone to validate that the minimum security conditions for a transaction are in place, whether that transaction is sending money or applying for education or getting a job or getting a visa to another country. The blockchain can dramatically speed up and reduce the time it takes for that process. So our technology, for example, is already allowing some end users to skip over the apostille process when they try to apply for jobs in foreign countries, because now they have instantly self-validating credentials that they own for life and that they can share anytime and with anyone they choose. We are working with the Maltese government on the first national block certs project. This is a project that is rolling out our technology to educational institutions throughout Malta, K through 12, higher education, public, private, as well as national accreditation bodies and some professional licensing bodies. So this is the future of digital credentials.
Wow. And this wouldn't really have been possible without the use of blockchain.
Right. That's exactly right. We're often asked, why can't you just do this with traditional PKI? Or why can't you just use paper records or PDFs? And the answer is that there are too many centralized points of failure that we've seen. They're both vulnerabilities, technically, and they can be abused by unscrupulous actors. And so what the blockchain does is it levels the playing field of trust for everybody so that anyone consulting the blockchain record can know that a particular record was issued by this issuing authority to this individual at this point in time, and nobody can edit that immutable transaction.
Very good. Jonathan, over to you. Can you please tell us about how you're using blockchain and why you chose to go to the blockchain for your business?
Of course. So we directly, as Blockchain Advisory, would not use blockchain technology ourselves. Rather, we are one of those pesky advisors telling you how to make the best use out of blockchain technology. And one of the points that we normally always emphasize on is that blockchain technology in itself is very powerful, but only in limited use cases. We cannot go out there, shout blockchain, and just board the hype train without considering how and when blockchain technology can be used. First of all, a lot of people seem to think and stop at the fact that blockchain is just a trustless ledger. It's not just that. It's a trustless mechanism of how to transfer data in a trustless manner. And that is different than just being a ledger in and of itself. So if you're just, for example, going to use blockchain technology to record certain data, yes, fine, but you can use other age-old technologies to do that as well. You do not need a blockchain in that case. If you do not have the concept of parties, different parties within the network, which do not trust each other, then again, if there isn't that problem, then you don't need to use blockchain. Because if you're just going to use blockchain without actually trying to solve an issue, then you will create an issue which didn't exist there before. Implementing blockchain technology without actually first analyzing the use cases will just end up in a clunky, slow, inefficient system which will make you disillusioned with blockchain technology, and that should not be the case. So first and foremost, whenever we deal with clients, ultimately, if there are any clients who would like to know more about blockchain technology, yes, we explain to them what it's about and the benefits. But if clients come up to us with a ready-made solution and say, OK, we're going to use blockchain, the first question we ask them, do you actually need blockchain? And if they can't explain that to us in 2 minutes, then we just shake hands and part ways.
Wow.
This is very important if we want blockchain technology to actually grow in adoption. Because if we start applying it incorrectly, then it will just lead to slower adoption and also potentially some products which ultimately would work best with other technologies. So again, this is very important, and ultimately in order to drive adoption, there needs to be the development of a healthy community. So ideas need to be listened to, they need to be fostered, and ultimately in order for blockchain technology to grow, we need to listen to the developers, we need to listen to the geeks, we need to listen to those who actually have hands-on experience with this technology, because they would be able to guide us in how to implement it and not the other way around.
Interesting. So as the blockchain advisory, one of your first roles is to identify whether blockchain really should be a part of this business or not. Very good. Kenneth, I'm going to pass the mic to you. I believe you have a video. You want to play that first?
Yeah.
All right. So Kenneth from Malta Business Registry. Let's hope that this now works and starts playing with sound.
There's no need.
This file should be a video. If I will let them try get it playing. Oh, here we go. Thank you, guys. So Kenneth, thank you for sharing that. Using blockchain to help companies thrive. Please tell us a bit about how blockchain is a use case in your business.
Yeah. Actually, to reply to the question, we would need a couple of hours, but
I think we have about 10 minutes, but we'd like to share.
I try to summarize. So whoever who uses our services know that our processes are quite lengthy, and they require a lot of work from the service providers and a lot of verification from our staff. So the main reasons for us to go on blockchain, I would say, would group them in three. One is to help the service providers to be more their verification is done more efficiently and in lesser time. The second is to help our staff in vetting the applications that we receive. And third is to combat, to have the tools to combat money laundering. I think that those three are the main reasons why we are embarking on a blockchain technology. To give some examples of how this technology will work is, for example, we will have a new identity management system. Nowadays, at the moment, the online system will have, it depends on the EID and the national identity. And we will have an identity management system for our own. Then we will have, for example, live chat between the service providers and our staff to try to expand the communication channels. And another important feature will be, for example, the name reservation of companies, whereby it will have an artificial intelligence that when a person is reserving a name, will know exactly if the name will be approved or not, because the system will show. I think another important point is that the blockchain will facilitate also other entities such as banks, that's why a blockchain, because there will be other entities, hopefully, which will make part of that chain, such as banks, such as other government institutions, the VET department, the IRD. That is our intention. Hopefully, being the first agency to go on blockchain, government agency to go on blockchain, I think it will help. We will serve as a role model also for other government entities to embark on such technology.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Kenneth. I'm just going to skip through these slides. I've got a quick question, and I'd actually like you to raise your hands if you have ever made a transaction so far using cryptocurrency. So just show your hands, anyone here who's actually paid for something with crypto before. All right, very good. I'd say that's about 5% of the audience have actually used crypto so far. And I think by the time Gregory is done, we're going to change that and increase that number quite substantially. Another question I have, I just want to introduce a little bit about how blockchain is used in marketing and social media platforms. Being a digital marketing agency, being able to target our audience is extremely important. So has anyone here ever been talking about a product and then they happen to see it advertised to them on Facebook or on Instagram, and you're like, how the hell did that happen? And it's kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm seeing some people there. It's like, oh, shit. So this is one of the reasons how blockchain, one of the ways how blockchain can revolutionize marketing and targeting. I mean, Facebook, which also owns Instagram and Google, they're huge corporations, and they are actually profiting as social platforms from people sharing their interests and sharing their likes, and advertisers paying to target these people too. Now, that's good, but Facebook's getting a lot richer, and it's not really anyone else centralized. It's not very decentralized. So through blockchain, we're now seeing decentralized social networks and platforms where users get some form of token when they share their data or when they allow themselves to be advertised to. Also when they share posts or engage with people. So it's a nice way how blockchain is revolutionizing the marketing industry. So that's my point. I'm going to pass over to Greg. Greg, this is in your hands now. And tell us about Stasis and the great work you're doing.
Sure. Stasis in physics means equilibrium and stability. And we did a lot of research analyzing different countries, how to properly launch something that could be called crypto euro, and even released a book about that. But if you think about the way the humanity evolved to this current days, people always had some trust in an intermediary or in a particular asset they were exchanging between one of another, and there is always some middleman involved. So the proper and very simple use case of this technology, being a public ledger, is to transfer value between counterparties, between you and your family and your corporates and your counterparties in the business. So could you raise a hand if you did an international banking transaction last month or so? Like international banking transaction. So then you know how hard it is, how long it is, how crooked you can be by applying foreign exchange rates, how much of the compliance it usually takes every particular intermediary in the supply chain that does this transaction. So what could be easily done with something like a crypto euro is a cross-border transaction that happens almost instant, in a matter of seconds, and nobody can restrict it from happening. Nobody will ask you for particular banking details or a purpose of the transaction. When you, of course, convert this crypto euro to an actual euro, you will be asked traditional compliance questions, but think of it like a wallet that allows you to do instantaneous transactions between peer-to-peer transactions between countries, between people. And another thing, when you store your money in the bank, you actually don't really know what the bank is doing with your money. So what we did was to bring a maximum transparency that is possible to show like what is happening exactly with your money, because all crypto euro that are issued are backed with actual euros. And these accounts are audited as frequent as possible. We did it in a daily form right now, and blockchain is auditable on demand. You can always go and check for a trusted ledger, like what particular address has tokens. So corporate settlement, for example, is a very good use case for this product. And we are working with several big multinational corporations to white label that. To an extent, a central bank issued digital currency can already be issued today on our platform. And the corporation can use it for internal settlements, say using multi-offices to transfer funds between them, pay wages, etc. If there is a big company that does a lot of cross-border transactions, the costs are somewhere north of 1% of a turnover, total cost, like direct cost and indirect cost. That could be cut to like few basis points if you use something like the open ledger with an account in a central bank-based institution, and we have that infrastructure. Some numbers that we achieved so far. We've been 1 year in operation. We have more than 7 licensed financial intermediaries that settle this crypto euro. We have 32 million in reserves, fully audited, verified. More than almost 200 million euro transacted already. And we are legal in UK, US, Germany, and Malta, of course. We have legal opinions to support that. And I think we did a lot of efforts to evolve e-money sort of concept, with the Maltese legal framework being the first step, which we actively contributed to. But I think e-money 2.0 is the next step regulating these types of businesses. As a matter of fact, you can put this to action even at this conference. We made sure the caterers that are around are accepting EURS. There is ATM on our stand when you can get some crypto euro using your cash. You can also download the wallet and see how easy it is to get an account. Basically, when you go to a bank, it takes days, sometimes weeks or months to get just an account. With something like the stablecoin, you can download the application and get an account and receive crypto euro in seconds. So that just shortcuts the way to be banked. And if you do it, we welcome you with 10 crypto euro, which will be distributed to you if you send your address to w@stasis.net. And also, as I mentioned, you can use our ATM at the stand.
Yeah, very good. So lunch is on Stasis. So thank you, Greg, for lunch, which you can now buy at this conference using crypto. So everyone who said they hadn't yet made their first crypto transaction, today may be the day. You can get your phone out and scan the QR code. Greg, you talk about trust quantification in your TEDx talk, which I found very engaging. Natalie, you also mentioned that trust is one of the key themes. Would you, open to anyone to input, would you say that trust is the main benefit of blockchain? Would you agree?
Precisely, yeah, precisely right. So blockchain allows for something called the scalability of trust. Okay. So typically trust has been socially engineered through human institutions, whether it's kinship, relationships of the family, organized religion, localities, political groupings, tribes. As commerce has scaled and as human mobility has scaled exponentially, what we've seen is that those large institutions, which served a purpose at particular historical moments, are no longer adequate to the task of fragmented, increasingly individualized interactions and commercial transactions between people and entities. And so in order to create that kind of trust, what we need is actually a meta institution that can then serve as an independent arbiter of trust. And that is what a blockchain is technologically.
Yeah, I think blockchain is a perfect tool to quantify this trust. We can mathematically prove how secure a proof-of-work public blockchain is. We can prove it to you and measure the amount of capital you can risk in that blockchain. That amount is already in billions of euro equivalent. So if you trust your bank, just because it has some name or some history, the max you can get if the bank goes under is 100,000 euros. You got this SATA Bank example recently.
Okay.
The rest
Let's not talk about SATA.
Okay. So, but the point is, people trust banks not because they measure the trust in them, and it is an instrument that somehow humanity figure out. No, they trust just because it was the name of a particular brand. And the blockchain allows to remove that middleman and to quantify trust for each counterparty, measuring it to decimals, basically.
Guys, we're out of time. Ika, final words before we go. Anything you want to add?
Well, I hope Josh doesn't shake my hand and leave after 2 minutes. But basically, we're trying to replicate a structure, a public company structure, where they make billions of dollars of profit and use the same, essentially similar structure on a single real estate, which means blockchain needs to provide us with the efficiency on cost, on timing, on anything that allow us to actually do that.
Amazing.
And it does allow us to do that. And this is the very first time that we'll be able to do that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Quick 10 seconds because they're going to kill us.
So just one sentence. Blockchain is about taking back what is ours. Our money, our information, our data. That's it.
Amazing. Shall we end on that power note? Yeah? Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for your attention. Thank you to the awesome team here on stage for sharing your stories. And everyone go get your lunch after the next talk. Thanks a lot.